Hey guys, it is day 6 of the Ultimate Better Butt Challenge. So last one for the week 1 in the book soon. We're gonna do 60 reverse hyper extensions along with 20 side lying hip raises. So the angle is gonna be a little bit different. You're gonna need a mat and I'm gonna use a bench, but if you don't have a bench or something a little more stable for you to lay on, I'm gonna show you an option. So showing you what a reverse hyper extension is. Think of froggers like we've done in Pilates. Today, I'm going to keep my hips more 12 o'clock in neutral. So I'm not going to take my hips and open them out to the side like a frogger. Everything's going to be more in a 12 o'clock reference point. When you are laying on the edge of a bench, you got to find where's that right sweet spot for you. So I'm not necessarily putting the edge of the bench right at the crease of my hips. The crease of the bench, the edge is probably a little bit lower down, maybe about 1 or 2 inches below the crease of my hip. Okay, so here's my crease and here's where I'm going to put the bench, because if I put the bench right at my crease, it puts too much pressure on my lower abdomen. So you want to find a point where, find your hips for the 12 o'clock, and you want to be able to have a bend in the knees 90 degrees. So the edge of the seat's touching into my thighs, but it's not pushing into my lower abdomen. So this is where you have to draw the abs in, grab underneath or grab the edge of your bench. You're going to keep your knees 90 degrees, and then you're going to use your butt only to lift your legs up. This is called a reverse hyperextension. So it's not about how high the legs are going, okay? It's indicative of hip flexor flexibility and glute strength. So the more you have that neurological connection with your glute muscle, that is what's going to drive your hips, your butt, your legs up. So I am not using my low back, my erectors, my low back muscles at all to do the lifting. It's merely just stabilizing the lumbar spine, but the movement is only coming from the hips to be able to lift my legs up in the hip extension. Now you can certainly keep one leg on the ground and just do one leg at a time. If it's too much to raise 2 legs up at the same time, or you are just not feeling it, or it's too uncomfortable on your stomach. I totally get it. It probably took me a long time till I kind of got comfortable using a bench, because sometimes I either felt it too much in my low back or I just felt it too much in my stomach. So a position that many of you are familiar with, you can use a dumbbell, put it on the back of one leg. You can be on hands or you can be on forearms. I've cued before. I like doing this kind of exercise, your donkey kickbacks, on forearms, because it takes the lumbar spine out of the equation. So now we are doing the same thing, still doing a reverse hyper, but now we're just doing it one leg. Holding the dumbbell kind of focuses and forces you to keep the leg more pointed down, rather than starting to rotate the leg out as the glute gets tired or we start getting sloppy and using the low back. So those are some options for you. So let's go ahead and do, let's get to 20, see how we're doing. We might try and do 2 sets of 30. This is where sometimes I feel this a lot in my stomach. All right. So find your setup. Knees are about hip width apart. My knees are not necessarily touching one another, but they are certainly together. Hang on, phone ringing. Don't know who that is. All right. Let's just check, make sure it's never the school. All right, you ready? Let's start with 20 to 30 and let's see how we do. All right, knees bent, draw abs in, keep that chin tucked. Now your first couple of reps, maybe kind of pause at the top a little bit, get that neurological connection to the glutes, make sure you feel them, and make sure that you're not hiking or leaning. You have just enough of a light little hand grip with the hands, just enough to help keep that upper body from moving, but don't have so much of a death grip where you're only feeling in the upper half. It's just stopping as soon as you feel glute squeezing. You guys, it's always just about mind muscle at the end of the day. And that is probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the years. So many times I would just like keep adding plates just because you're supposed to, quote unquote, but I never really had that mind muscle connection with the glutes. until I started really just scaling back on the weight and really just holding, connecting, freezing. There's 7. All right, I'm on my first round of 10. All right, let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where you can also let your legs kind of straddle your bench if you're using one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do 20. 20, but hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. So you're definitely using your low back to stabilize the lumbar spine. So if you're feeling it but not having pain, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Thanks, Love Bus. Just put it right there in the box. That's not a bad thing. It's just stabilizing, keeping using from using your low back on the reverse hyper. All right, so you're side lying today. So rather than in our clam where our legs were 90 degrees, we are now in a straight position, straight from knee to hip to shoulder, okay? Stabilize. As you come up into your modified side plank and down, we're also going to raise the top leg. Side lying leg raise, ready? Here we go, let's go 10. There's 2, and we hold up for 5 seconds on that 10th rep. There's 4. So same cues apply. It's not about how high, just enough where you feel it. 8. Here's 9. 10, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, flip it over. One flush, straight line. Knees are behind you. Bridge up and up. All right, there we go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. Hold it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So as I'm coming up and down, it's kind of like a hip drop. So you want to feel some stretch, some length on that bottom hip, but my bottom hip is not hinging back. So I am never, ever going in a hip flexion state. It's maybe a little bit more into lateral flexion as I drop down, and then I lift up and I am one straight line, but I'm always staying in a straight line, just maybe a little bit more of a U when my hip comes down. All right, guys, second set. 20, 20, 20. So repeat. Abs in, tuck chin, fire, palpate Q glutes. Let's go 20. So this can be done at a 1-1 tempo if you are feeling glutes pretty well. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So as I'm coming up and down, I definitely use the ground as a reference point, making sure both knees lightly touch evenly together is a great way just to make sure you're maintaining good form. Find your straight line, find your U. Ready? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flip it over. Make your U, straight line, stacked, and left. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure this top leg stays in extension. 6, 7. Don't let that top leg drift forward. There's 8, 9, and 10. Hold 2, 3, 4, and 5. Drop down. All right. One more set of 20. So while we get set up, one last little cue, lesson learned along the way from me. So I tend to, as I get tired, use a lot of my low back for the glutes. So something else just to think about as you're going through the setup, less is more. Stop before you start fanning it into the erectors. That's sometimes why keeping that chin tucked, turn off the erectors a little bit. Focus just as soon as you feel the butt fire. Don't worry about height, okay? Just as long as you feel it, but you shouldn't feel anything other than stabilization in that low back, but no hyperextension. All right, last 20. Here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give me 1 second, baby. 9, 10. 1, 2. Squeeze those butt cheeks together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On that way down, it is also an opportunity. 19, last one, hold it up, to allow those erectors to stretch on the down. 3, 2, and 1. So once you come down to here every single time, you want to be able to feel some length, some roundedness, a stretch. Okay, so that is also why sometimes using a bench is better than being on hands and knees. But sometimes we can not get enough of that stretch on that down. All right, you ready? Sideline, left. Oh no, we did our 20. Yeah, we did our 20. So there we go. Number 4. Oh my goodness. So neutral pelvis. Can you see me? Yeah. Neutral pelvis, leg crossed over. Bring it to the opposite shoulder. Not always about threading a hand through the middle. Enough where you feel that stretch right through here. But the more you can kind of make yourself push your butt back like you're going into a squat, you're going to go into hip extension and you should feel some length into that glute. And change sides. Oh, goodness. We'll do that one. And then doing side bends. Oh, this one. So whether you cross the leg or not, but also stretch out those QLs, those obliques, because even though we didn't work them, we did a little bit stabilizing on your side leg, but then also on your reverse hypers. So these two right here can get really short, tight. Change sides. So just stay on top of it. Listen to your body. Some places we need to focus longer on stretching than others, but that's how you get more in tune with your body, and that's how you can kind of shape it and grow it. Okay. All right, guys, that is the end of day 6, week 1, and I will see you guys next week for week 2. See you later, guys.